On the lying truth today, we got to take a look at nuance. Nuance meaning that our government does not have a solution for us that's going to work. Our government has one size fits all solutions to blanket everybody that in the end, if you think of any major problem we've had in our society, they've really never been able to fix a lot of them. And they're really going to botch this one up too. And I'm going to explain why. Here I have the coronavirus case fatality rates by age. Now, what I'm trying to show you here is we have a lot of talk of two sides of people that are both essentially wrong. One side, this is very serious, very deadly for everybody. We got to stay home because people are going to die. The other side, this isn't even real. It's an overblown argument. This is insanity. The truth is both. Both. Now, depending on which part of the truth you take, depends on which lie you create for yourself. What I have here is the case fatality rates by age, and a number I want you to think about is 0.1. 0.1 is the fatality rate of the flu. 0.1%. What we're seeing in this chart when you break it down by age is that for many of the age groups, in fact, pretty much everybody under 50, coronavirus is very similar to the flu. The fatality rate for under 50 is like the flu. It's small, it's low. If you're 17 years old and you get COVID, it's like the flu. You got sick. Same thing if you're 9, if you're these ages, it's worse. You have better shot of dying of getting the flu at this age, 0 to 9, than of dying of COVID, statistically speaking. Yet we don't really treat it this way at this point. We pretend like we're scared to death of getting COVID. And this approach is going to end up killing all of the people that this is very deadly for. Now, I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen, because you can tell the government approach is just open things slowly. For the next 2 years or until we get a vaccine, we're going to slowly be hearing the stories of how people's aunts and uncles and grandpa and grandma have passed away because they got COVID. Because it literally kills like 1 out of 20, 1 out of 10 people that get it. So we're going to constantly be hearing of these stories, and it's going to scare the crap out of us. We're very rarely going to be hearing a story of a teenager dying of COVID. I mean, we're going to hear it on the news, don't get me wrong, because the news has to sell that story. I mean, if this age, it's a huge story. But for most of us, under 50, this is the flu. For those over 80, this is a serious, deadly, life-threatening illness. And what is our government's response? Has our government really emphasized the fact that for some of us, this is very insignificant, and for other of us, it is deadly serious? They have not. They're treating us all the same. They're saying, "Oh, you're in college. You can't go to college because of the flu." Essentially what they're saying. And so their actual plan was, we took these kids that are away at college and sent them home to mix in with our older generation. Does that sound like a logical plan? I mean, not everybody's going to go home to live with 40-year-olds, but if you've got someone in college, there's a good chance that you might have someone in this age. And if not, you're going to be around that person. You know how it would be. You don't see Johnny for a long time. He's away at some school. And now our solution is to send him home and mix him in with the population that could get sick. I don't understand how this plan is going to work. I understand we wanted to slow everything down to make sure that we didn't overwhelm the hospitals so that people didn't die because of lack of hospital care, but that didn't happen. It did not happen. In fact, there are some stories out there that people died because they couldn't get a heart treatment or heart surgery. Those stories haven't come out yet. But as of right now, we have not had people dying because of not being able to get into the hospital. That's not what's happening. People are dying at these rates here because that is how deadly this coronavirus is to people basically over 60. And even 50 to 59, it's significant, but it's nothing like the fatality rate of people over 80. And that is what my question is going to be as I explore this issue. How does slowly opening up restaurants help us from not spreading the disease to our aunts, uncles, and grandparents and older parents? How is that going to prevent it? We know about all of the deaths in the nursing homes. So how did closing down all these things slow down the deaths in the nursing homes? When the people in the nursing homes generally aren't going to work, they're not going to restaurants, they're not going to the gyms. So how did that help improve the chances down here? Now, I have a belief, and my belief is this: everyone under 50 needs to get this disease if you're healthy. We should want to get the COVID so that we no longer can spread it to our older population. Until I have COVID, how can I feel comfortable ever going around my parents or my grandmother who's 94? How could she's 94. She's probably got, if she gets sick with this, it's a 1 in 5 chance that she passes away from the disease. Okay? If I get sick with this, it's basically a 2 in 10,000 chance that I would pass away. It is completely different, inherently different, especially when I take into account that not all of us have underlying health issues. And here we are. What are we doing? We're like opening the place where the healthiest people go last, the gyms. This is our government's response. Open up restaurants where if you're 80, you can go to a restaurant, even if it has 50 people, right? Because it's apparently that's okay. But you can't go to the gym if you're 20 because of some reason. I'm not sure how this is going to help the older population. And maybe someone can explain it to me how it is, but it's not going to. We're going to see if this is the way we go until there's a vaccine. We're going to see our older population just continue to pass off. And I'm going to get into this a little more detail, some other numbers, but just want you to realize that under 50, this is like the flu, guys. I'm sorry, it is. Over 50, well, actually over 60, it's 50 to 70, it's significant. You get over 70 years old, this is a killer disease, a killer. It kills people who get it at that age. So why treat it the same? Why treat everybody with the same kid gloves? I don't understand that. And we're going to get down to that this week on The Lying Truth. I'm going to put out a few shows. They're going to go into the numbers and how it relates to different age groups. And what I would do, I want to get COVID. I hope I get it so that once I do, I can go around people and not worry about infecting them. Until I do, and it doesn't matter if the restaurant holds 50, 100, 200, 500, until I get COVID, how can I know if I'm going to spread it to my grandmother, to one of my aunts, one of my uncles, my parents? I'll never know that. My friend's grandparents. One of my best friend's grandfather is 89 years old. How can I ever, in good conscience, go to his house or even go around him knowing I could potentially be the reason his grandfather passes away? Because that's the way our plan's working right now. Our plan is going to say, open up, guys. You can go to the restaurant if it's under 50 and we're safe now. How? How did that help protect his grandfather is what I would like to know. How could having a restaurant under 50 with these general blanket rules help me not spread it to his grandfather when I might not even know I have it?